is needed when we're discussing and explaining what confidentiality is going to look like to our clients. So I have a few suggestions for you guys. At the very outset of beginning therapeutic work with an adolescent client, take time to clearly specify what you anticipate the structure and nature of therapy will be with this young person. So what I mean here is, what kind of relationship do you expect to have with each person, with the parent and with the adolescent? Is this primarily going to be counseling that's individual for the adolescent? Will you be meeting primarily with them on a weekly basis? Will you be incorporating parent sessions regularly or semi-regularly, or as needed, as requested by the parent? Will sessions be done together with the parent and the adolescent? Will there be some mixture thereof? A lot of this is, some of this is determined by how you tend to practice to some degree, but it also is highly influenced by the concerns that the adolescent is bringing in and what the family wants. It is the case sometimes that they come in saying, we just want individual counseling for the adolescent, and the adolescent's like, yeah, I just want individual counseling. Parents like, great, I'm happy to drop them off. And sometimes we're in the position of actually having to push for more integration and sort of having mixed sessions. In other cases, it's the parent, for example, will, because of maybe some of their anxiety and stress and worry for their child, they want to be part of every session. But you find that when the sessions are done always together, that it's way more difficult to elicit engagement and communication from the adolescent. So you might need to propose a structure of therapy where you have a portion of the time together with the family and with the parent and the adolescent, and maybe a portion of the time will be just for the adolescent. Okay? Or maybe, if to help that parent cope with some of the stuff that they're dealing with, maybe it would be a good idea to link them up with another counselor. And maybe they could do the sessions concurrently in different offices with different therapists. Okay, so there are lots of different configurations that this can take. But it's important to be clear about that at the outset. Make clear what information will be shared when and how and by whom. So what I put here is from an informed consent that I have used with adolescents. This is what I would say, and I have this in writing with the adolescents. So I would say to them, as a general rule, I'll keep the information that you share to me in our sessions confidential unless I have your written or verbal consent to disclose certain pieces of information. There are, however, important circumstances that are the exception to this rule, and then I would give them all the mandated things that we have to report. And then I would say, on occasion, I may believe that it's important for your parents to know in a little bit more detail what is going on in your life and how they can best support you. In these situations, I will encourage you to tell your parents what it is that I think would be useful. I'd encourage you to be part of that conversation and tell your parents with me. And my job will be to help prepare you to find the best way to do that with them. Okay? So I've already set up the sort of in their mind that I am going to be trying to facilitate open communication between all parties involved, but I am committed to doing so in a way that protects their privacy and sense of control in terms of the information that they share. Okay? Now, what I would say to a parent, so I would give them a little bit of a blurb sort of to set sort of the explanation of how therapy works. So adolescent counseling is very similar to how we do counseling with adults. Okay? So it can help them learn to identify sources of distress that might be going on in their lives, skills for asking for help, and improvement problem solving. And then I would explain that we accomplish this goal much the same way that we do with adult clients. So we want to create an environment where the teen feels safe and protected from real or perceived threats to their privacy or their sense of control. So what this means is that confidentiality applies to your teen's sessions. However, if your teen is in serious or immediate danger, I will tell you, and I will tell the appropriate authorities of my concerns. And then I put this in bold because this is a variation. You can decide based on what your agency policy is, how your preference for practicing is, what the presenting issue is. You may want to set up parent meetings or consultations. Maybe at the end of session, you'll invite the parent in for 5 minutes to have a consultation. Maybe at the beginning of session. Maybe you'll do phone conversations. with the parent in between sessions, whatever it seems to make sense. During these meetings, I'll provide you with general update on our counseling work, including the type of treatment that's being offered, the associated risks and benefits. And I might sometimes describe problems in general terms without using specifics in order to help you know how to be more helpful. And then to the adolescents, I would say preferably you would be part of this conversation. So I'm explaining this to everybody in the room, right? So everybody knows who's getting what information and how information is going to be shared. And I would say preferably you're going to be part of these conversations, and you and I will discuss together ahead of time what we're going to tell your mom and dad. Okay, and that's a negotiation. That conversation isn't just, what do you want me to tell them? You can bring your input to that, and you might have to challenge them a little bit and say, explain to them why you think that it might be useful for the parents to know that you're not getting to sleep until 3 a.m. because you have so much anxiety. And maybe that's the reason you have so much fight and conflict in the morning when you have to get up for school, right? Okay, so those were just, I wanted to sort of give a narrative of how that can be explained to parents. Things that might pop up here that you might not anticipate is, if I think when this conversation hasn't been done explicitly or well, you'll start to notice little behaviors on the part of the parent or the adolescent. You might start to get emails or phone calls from parents. Sometimes you'll get just a quick email check-in, and it'll be, sometimes I'll get like, this is what happened this week, and I'd like you to talk with this, I'd like to talk to you with him about this week. Or you should know that, his dad and I had a really big fight, and his dad moved out, and this is what's going on. Other times it's like journal entries of information that parents are trying to share with you that they think is going to, that if you knew this, that you could probably do a better job helping their kid. I think Michelle's locked out. So these are not bad things. These are just things that you need to, take some intentionality about how you want to respond to them, okay? If getting long emails like that is not something you can respond to, or it's not something that you perceive as being helpful, suggest an alternative. Obviously, this parent is needing to express something and get some support in some way. So suggest maybe that they come in, maybe we do a phone call, maybe we do a session together, those kinds of things.
So in practicum, if there's a situation where somebody knows something about someone, can't bring it into the room. So as a counselor, if I can't get information from other people about my client, because it's going to interrupt how I see them. Does that make sense? That's what we were learning in terms of.
Like if you were to seek out other information about the client? So
we had a situation where one of our clients was seen in a different sort of client session by a different member of the team. They knew some stuff, but they couldn't bring that information because it would affect that client relationship with the counselor in the room.
Oh, okay.
So is that similar to here where I can't read stuff that the parents are saying if it's too much, because that's going to impact how I see the client instead of... It could be.
If, for example, if the content of what the parent is sharing to you as you read it and you start to realize that it's influencing and shaping the way that you're perceiving the client in a way that's not beneficial in your judgment, you may need to ask the parent to express those concerns differently or to a different source, right? I don't know, Bart, do you have a response?
It got really complicated last year because at FRC we were seeing the kid, and at Nickel we were seeing the parent. And the counselor at Nickel said, I have some information that you as a counselor really need to, but we're in the same agency and we're in the same team, so we can share that, can't we? And we just really had to sort that out. And we decided, we decided that we needed to keep that separately. I mean, you can't, a release of information within your own agency just does not make sense. So we had to negotiate between the kid and the parent whether this was okay. And the kid said no. So these counselors could not talk to each other about this case.
All right, so counselors can't, but if the parent's sending information about the kid, that's fine, generally.
The point is, it's not general, it's each situation,
Ah.
and it depends on the parents, the relationships between the parents and the kids, the relationships between the supervisors, all of that becomes relevant.
Right,
Yeah.
okay.
I would run that by the kid. Your parent wants to talk to me,
Right,
and then negotiate from there.
Right, okay.
yeah, that's the point. Negotiation.
Daniel, did you want to add something? I thought I saw a hand.
No,
Just,
just waving. No, but no big deal.
okay.
Random.
My third suggestion would be,
Yeah.
and I've already mentioned this, just maintain a good working knowledge of those reportable circumstances. There are many adolescent activities, though questionable, may not rise to the level of being a reportable behavior.
Kristen, can I ask a question about that? What about with suicide and an adolescent telling you that they're planning on committing suicide?
Yeah.
I don't know if we explicitly touched on that here. I'm wondering, is that
That's
reportable
report- yeah.
that you have
Yeah,
to
if
tell
you
the
believe,
parents?
if you believe that that child is at, like, the risk is high and they have the means to do it, then you're required. It's harm to self.
Okay, that's
Yeah.
okay, perfect.
So these sort of not low threshold, did it cross a threshold kind of things would be like if an adolescent was telling me that they drank some alcohol at a party and they're underage. Okay, I wouldn't necessarily be reporting that. If they tell me that they were at a party, they drank alcohol, and they were driving with somebody who was intoxicated and they were at risk, then I would be way more concerned and more likely to want to breach confidentiality for the safety of that adolescent.
And what if the adolescent tells you that they attempted suicide before and they never told their parents? Do you want to tell the parents that information?
Again, it's kind of like, it depends on how long ago, how like lethal the attempt was, like what are they currently going on right now. Like let's say the client is just sharing to you a period of time in their life that was really dark and really challenging, and they feel like they really trust you, and they tell you, I actually came really close to taking my own life once. I've never told anybody this before, but I feel like there's some stuff there. If we walk off and report that, it could be very damaging to the relationship, right? But if it's, last week I was, this happens to me a lot. I got in a really dark place and nobody was home, and I had a razor there and I had pills and I was ready to do it. That increases my concern for walking.
And this is a weirdly specific situation, but I've spoken with someone who, in their teen years, their parent attempted suicide multiple times, and it wasn't reported because this individual actually resuscitated the animal. So what kind of responsibility if this individual was in counseling and reported that to the counselor? Because otherwise needs were met in terms of like food, healthcare, etc., but the parent didn't seem capable of taking care of themselves, but took care of the minor. It also put them in an at-risk situation, so you report it?
So the young person, the youth, had a parent attempt suicide, and they walked in and found the parent, resuscitated them. They were at a hospital now. The parent.
I don't think they actually went to the hospital.
Right.
I think it was kept private,
Yeah.
based on the conversation I had with this
Yeah.
person.
Yeah, I think I would be, my default probably would be to have a conversation with the youth to say, like, where are you living now? What provisions have been made to care for, like, your parent is obviously in a lot of distress, and that's not your job, and this, like, those kinds of conversations, and sort of go from there.
Yeah, is there imminent risk?
Yeah.
Is there neglect going on?
Yeah. Usually at that point, like if they're at a hospital, they're usually social workers. Like there's a whole system that usually responds to this. And so sometimes it's just a matter of, would you mind if I gave that person a call? These are the questions I have. And just begin to inform yourself about what's happening already. Regardless of whether your client assents to disclosing the information that you think you need to share, as far as possible, always tell the adolescent beforehand what it is you're going to say and when you're going to say it. And then, as I said, always ideally include the adolescent in the conversations if you can. And lastly, when your client participates in adjunct therapies or services like school, you'll need to seek permission to confer with these agencies and also receive permission from your client in order to respond to requests for communication with these agencies. All right. Oh, so in sum, helpful guidelines. Just be familiar with the reporting laws. Be attentive to how you deliver the informed consent conversation, making sure you hit those highlights about how information will be shared, how therapy will unfold, or how you anticipate therapy will unfold. Use consultation liberally with your supervisors and your colleagues. Remember, it's always better to inform your client ahead of time that you intend to make a report. You can limit your disclosure to what's essential when you're making your report to the social worker. They don't need to know the history of the time of what you've done with this client. They don't need to know the details. You just need to give them the sort of specific information that's related to the concern that you have about their safety. Keep accurate records. If you are working through an ethical dilemma about whether to report, it's a good idea just to keep notes about your thought process and who you talk to and your decision-making steps. And then always as much as possible, minimize the negative consequences of disclosure. And so all of these steps above are meant to serve that purpose.
We talk about like, oh, report this, report that. I still feel unclear of like who we're calling.
Yes, you are calling, so in the province of BC, there are delegated social workers and agencies that receive these calls and take action upon receiving them. So in the province of BC, the Ministry of Children and Family Development has protection social workers who fill those roles. So they are on duty, well, they work, actually now it's all, there's a provincial phone-in system. It used to be that you call your local office, but now you call that general number and they do sort of the initial assessment to determine if they're going to follow up on it, and then they send that information to the local community where the child resides.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Okay, so that brings us to the lab part. So why don't we, Bart, would it be okay to do a little mini break and let them go to the bathroom?
No, hold it.
So why don't you guys take a break?